of the Flagler Beach City Commission, Thursday, April 14th, 2022 at 5:30 p.m. This meeting will continue until all items are complete. At this time, I would like to ask that all cell phones be either turned off or put on silent. And also too, for everybody that's listening, we're going to be audio only on YouTube, unfortunately, right now. Mayor, can you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence to honor our veterans?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Mayor, we have 3 proclamations and 3 certificates of recognition and awards.
Yes, we do. All right, we have quite a few tonight to hand out because why all of our residents are so fantastic. But first, I would like to call up Lieutenant Anthony Forte. This man right here was actually recognized by Commissioner Jane Mealy on just going above and beyond, always serving his community, even outside of his community. I'm going to read a letter that Jane Mealy sent to the city manager. Dear William, I'm very close friends with a couple, George and Mary Mayer, who live on a canal in Palm Coast. Fortunately for them, Lieutenant Anthony Forte of the Flagler Beach Fire Department lives directly across the canal from them. On Friday, March 25th, 2022, George was working in the garden at the rear of his house facing the canal. The area is sloped and he lost his footing, causing him to fall in and amongst an area containing rock ground cover and bushes just beyond a staircase. There was nothing for him to grab onto to prevent the fall, nor by which to pull himself up. Mary ran out of the house to try to aid him in standing, but again, there was nothing for her to hold on to acquire some leverage, so she was unable to do so. Fortunately, Lieutenant Forte was fishing in his backyard at the canal. He shouted across the canal, asking if there was any need for assistance. Even though Mary didn't want to bother him, he dropped his fishing pole, ran barefooted around the block, and was able to get George to stand up. He told my friends that they should they ever be in need for any future assistance, that he would always help in any possible way. I tell all of you this not just out of gratitude in this one incident, but because I believe that Lieutenant Forte should receive some sort of public recognition for his personal profile, for always being a first responder, even when off duty and outside of a city where he works. So we thank you. Come on up.
Photo with Commissioner. If I ever fall, I hope you're close by. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anthony.
Good luck fishing every time.
Mayor, could I just add a couple of words?
Absolutely.
The couple that are my friends have been my friends for about 40 years, going back to New York. They're my family here. So it's more than just a friend that Anthony helped. Unfortunately, George has Parkinson's and it's getting progressively worse and progressively worse. So this falling is not unusual. But he's a very proud person. And he loves his garden, and so he refuses to stop working in these areas that he really shouldn't be working anymore, but it's his one happiness. So he does it, and to have the knowledge that Anthony was across the way that one time, that was really great. I'm sorry. Got more emotional than I thought I would. So Anthony, personally for me, thank you very much.
I'm glad
a hero. Next, we have a proclamation for National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week. Whereas emergencies can occur at any time that require police, fire, or emergency medical service. And whereas an emergency occurs, the prompt response of police officers, firefighters, and paramedics is critical to the protection of life and preservation of property. And whereas the safety of our police officers and firefighters is dependent upon the quality and accuracy of information obtained from citizens who telephone the City of Flagler Beach Emergency Communications Center. And whereas public safety telecommunicators are the first and most critical contact our citizens have with emergency services. And whereas public safety telecommunicators are the single vital link for our police officers and firefighters by monitoring their activities by radio, providing them information, and ensuring their safety. And whereas public safety telecommunicators of the City of Flagler Beach have contributed substantially to the apprehension of criminals, suppression of fires, and treatment of patients. And whereas each dispatcher has exhibited compassion, understanding, and professionalism during the performance of their job in the past year. Therefore, be it resolved that the City Commission of the City of Flagler Beach declares the week of April 10th through April 16th, 2022 to be National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week in Flagler Beach, in honor of the men and women whose diligence and professionalism keep our city and citizens safe. Thank you.
Is there someone here to accept that? I thought so, yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Do you have anything that you would like to say?
Just Commissioners, Mayor, on behalf of all the men and women in the Flagler County Sheriff's Office Communications Center, thank you for recognizing their heroism and for honoring this week. We appreciate it. Thank you.
I just want to add, the sheriff asked me to convey his regrets that he couldn't be here. He has his Addressing Crime Together presentation tonight, so he is there at the Hilton Garden, so that's why he's not here, but he sent a good representative, so we're good.
Okay, I can do that. All right, 1, 2, 3, cheeseburger. All right. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, next we have a proclamation recognizing FB3 in the Tourism Development Office. They do a lot for our city, so we appreciate them. Whereas one of the privileges of the office of the mayor is to recognize and honor the outstanding efforts to bring the Starry Nights Christmas Light Program to Flagler Beach. And whereas the FB3 Business Group in the Tourism Development Office created this program to benefit people of all ages to delight in the magic of lights in the holiday season. Therefore, I, Susie Johnston, Mayor of the City of Flagler Beach, do hereby publicly recognize both of these groups and declare our appreciation for the great impact of the holiday lights it has made to this community. So we have them a proclamation and then also a certificate for each department. So if you'd like to come forward, we'd like a photo with you as well. Oh, absolutely. Go ahead.
Well, collectively as a group, I'm so excited that was one of the most unifying events that I've seen in a long time at Flagler Beach. And I love to take the credit for everything, but I could not have done this literally without anyone standing in this room. And Lily, too. You can stand up here, too, because you made this event happen as well. James Sherman, one of the citizens before like the commissioner, helping us and making sure that we got all these lifeguard stands up. And this event's only going to get bigger and better but you guys are the driving force. So as we progress for this year, I'm looking forward to adding a monstrous Christmas tree that also looks beautiful and not too big, but not too small. I'm very excited about it. There's a lot of good things, and we're looking for as much feedback, and we're probably going to start those meetings up here after this next month. So we're looking for all types of feedback, and it's open to everybody, all the citizens, residents, businesses, and obviously TDC and the county. All of us work together to make this happen. So again, I appreciate it, and each of you deserve a round of applause.
Amy Lukasik, Tourism Development Director. I echo what Johnny said. It takes a village, and it's quickly becoming a very popular event, and we look forward to continue our support to this event. Next year, we've already submitted in our budget for approval $15,000 to hopefully help purchase that big tree Johnny has in mind. I don't know how big Johnny has. God only knows, but thank you for the recognition.
The mayor had a shower. Come on. Here we go. All right, 1, 2, 3, cheeseburger. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. And last but not least, we have one more proclamation, Water Conservation Month, which we all know, living on an island with increasing water bills, this one's important. Whereas water is a basic and essential need of every living creature, and whereas the state of Florida water management districts in the city of Flagler Beach are working together to increase awareness about the importance of water conservation. And whereas the city of Flagler Beach and the state of Florida have designated April, typically a dry month, when water demands are most acute. Florida's Water Conservation Month to educate citizens about how they can help save Florida's precious water resources. And whereas the city of Flagler Beach has always encouraged and supported water conservation through various educational programs and special events. And whereas every business, industry, school, and citizen can make a difference when it comes to conserving water. And whereas every business, industry, school, and citizen can help by saving water and thus promote a healthy economy and community. And now therefore, be it resolved that by virtue of the authority vested in me as mayor of the city of Flagler Beach, I do hereby proclaim the month of April as Water Conservation Month. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, commissioners, Madam Mayor, Mr. Whitson. I'm Gretchen Smith in my latest role. Ooh, yeah, I know. Well, you had to COVID kind of got on everybody. And so, I saw an opportunity and I'm like, okay, time to move on. So, 2 years of crisis communications is a lot of fun. So yes, I'm at the St. Johns River Water Management District, and I would like to thank the city of Flagler Beach for supporting water conservation as much as we can. There are things that all of us can do, from shortening, making our shower time shorter to not, believe it or not, washing that dish before you put it in the dishwasher. I know that may cause some family disputes. I know in my house it does. But but there's little things that we all can do and take it seriously, because water is an incredibly precious resource, and it's up to us to make sure that it's here for future generations. So, thank you.
Yeah, sure. We'll send it to your boss.
We didn't get a cheeseburger this time?
I got one more phone. 1, 2, 3, cheeseburger.
Of course.
Yeah, I just wanted to say how grateful I am to have the opportunity to work with St. John's River Water Management District again. I worked with them many years in Port Orange, and they're a great partner, and look forward to really, getting together with them and doing a lot of great things. So it's good that we have a friend in Gretchen, and we appreciate y'all's support, and we'll be in touch.
Awesome.
All right, thank you.
Commissioners, do you have any deletions and changes or changes to the agenda?
City manager was talking about item 11 getting pushed.
Yeah, tabling that until the next meeting, April 28th. We just need a consensus if that's okay.
Do we do that now or when we get to it?
It hasn't been advertised, so you can pull it now if you don't want to hear it tonight.
Okay.
Okay. I think you have a consensus.
I think I do. Okay. And also, number 10, we're tabling this item as well for Life's a Beach, I'm assuming? Okay.
It's just being removed from the agenda. We'll send out notices to
Okay.
the surrounding properties again. It has to go before the PAR board.
Now I'd like to open up the floor to the public for items not on the agenda. Comments are limited to 3 minutes. So please step forward. State your name and address as well, for the record.
Sure. My name is Brad. Last name is Labate. I live at 509 South Central and 508 also. I am here today because I wanted to let the commissioners know of my experience I had while I was registering my golf cart last week. So it's not as exciting as dog surfing, but I'll try to make it interesting for you guys. I think it's important that we look at the actual section and what it says, and then maybe we can look at that and figure out what it should say in the future. But under section 19-63, it says, the city shall charge an initiation registration as set by resolution of the city commission, regardless of the date of the registration. All golf cart registrations shall be valid from January the 1st until December the 31st. So it's an annual registration. So if you come in and you register the vehicle on the last day of the year, you're gonna have to register it twice, okay? And you're gonna have to register it before it expires. And let's do section B here. The owner of the golf cart shall be operated on a designated street pursuant to the section shall be required to renew the golf cart registration prior to January the 1st of the following initial registration. The city shall charge the renewal fee as the resolution of the city commission for each registration renewal. An owner who fails to register the registration of the golf cart prior to January the 1st shall be required to obtain a new registration. So basically you gotta pay the initiation fee, which is $40 versus $30. So I went in last week to register the vehicle, and I was told that I was going to have to pay the initial fee, and I was like, that's weird. I didn't pay that last year. So I'm like, did something change? At that point, they told me that if I had come in before February, that I wouldn't be charged the more expensive fee. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I'm like, did that change? And they handed me the ordinance, and I went through it, and I'm like, it doesn't say that here. Where are you getting that from? And at that point, I kind of pushed the issue again, because I'm like, you're telling me something, but it's not codified here. So long story short, when I pushed them, I said, well, they told me that's just what they decided. So they couldn't really tell me where in the law it says that they should, allow like a forgiveness period. Okay, so push came to shove, and I realized at that point I may not be able to see the clerk's office, and when I looked up, I had the city police chief with me, which I'm hoping was just a coincidence and not something that I had created. But in any case, my point here is that we need to make sure that the ordinance matches what we're charging on the fee structure. We can't invent like forgiveness periods. Okay. Now, there's a couple other items I want to talk about here. realize I'm running short on time here. Okay, if you go to the police chief's website on golf carts, there's a section here where somebody asked the question, can you ride a golf cart on the sidewalk on the south end from the water tower to get to Flagler Beach? And according to the police department, it says yes, but only from Central Avenue, the water tower, to South 28th Street. Okay, so right here, the police are saying that we can ride on the sidewalk. But if you look at the ordinance, it says right here, section 1962, in no event shall a golf cart be driven on a public sidewalk. So my point is the ordinance is a mess.
Okay. Thank you, Brad.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else in the audience like to step up?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the board. How is everyone tonight? Awesome. Yeah. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? All right. So I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Thomas Kilpatrick. You said address. My address is 12 Sycamore Street, not Flagler Beach, but local to John Anderson. I'm a born and raised local Flagler Beach citizen. I'd like to speak to you guys about possibly relooking at food vendors or traveling vendors on First Friday. I'm one of the new owners to the food trailer called the Wandering Hoagie, and we are hoping that you guys would really relook at this, as you know, being a local to the community for almost 40 years now. I'm now a local business. It took a long time to figure it out and get here, but I'd like to be part of the community, and the stipulations that we were given to be part of the community and part of First Friday aren't really the proper ways to go about it in the food industry. So we would like you guys to look at that, and if so, maybe we could keep the food vendors to a minimum, 2 or 3 or 4, whatever works for you guys, and we could keep it local. Flagler County residents. Flagler County is Flagler Beach. It's all the same ball of energy. And then also, we would like to propose maybe a food truck or trailer night at the same location as where you guys are doing the new farmers market. I believe it's Betty Steflik Park, correct? So thank you for your time, and hopefully you consider my proposal. Thank you.
Thank you, Thomas.
Rick Belhumer, Flagler Beach. Just so you don't think everything I have to say is a complaint, I'll start out with some good news. First, the planning board got televised and recorded, so that wish was granted. The trees that I spoke of at the last meeting, going down through downtown area, have all been trimmed, along with Veterans Park and Wickline Park, so that all looks magnificent. More good news. The 20th and 21st Street, or 21st and 22nd Street, up there somewhere, the 2 northern walkovers have reopened. Without any fanfare or anything, but it's only taken 3.5 years to get those walkovers open. So maybe we should have had a ribbon cutting and a parade, but it's nice that it's finally done. Speaking of walkovers, I got a couple of questions here. People have been told that benches could not be added to any walkovers that weren't there prior to their point of destruction during Hurricane Matthew. So why do we have a walkover at North 17th that's been retrofitted with benches? Next question, back to trees. I don't know how many of you have noticed, but as you come down 100 to this red light and you look at those 2 neat bent palm trees that Larry had put up a couple years back, The one on the right side or south side is dead. So are we going to ask Vertigo to replace that, or it's just an unsightly first thing to see as you come into the city? I was sitting at South 9th Street the other night, completing a text, and I started to pull out and realized that that street corner was dark, somebody in the crosswalk. And I turned right and started heading south, and the 11th Street light was out, 12th Street, 25th Street, 26th Street. And I said, well, I wonder about the north side. So then North 6th, 16th, 18th, and 22nd, all these street lights are out. They're all crossed, where people cross to get to the walkovers. We've had people killed and seriously injured. And I'd like to know if we're going to follow up and make sure they get repaired.
Thank you, Rick.
Good afternoon. Charles Bullock, 1320 South Central. I'd like to speak about the speeding again on South Central. And when I come downtown on the golf cart on the weekends, after the first Friday, one car by the taco shop in the road for 2 hours. People parked the wrong side of the road, facing the wrong direction. It's just wondering and the electric bicycles that don't stop at stop signs, and bicycles. Thank you.
Thank you, Charles.
I'll join the parade.
Please do.
Bruno, 2740 South Ocean. These are all follow-up questions, okay? How we doing with the golf course? I see it's still open. Same management still there. So that's one question. My second question is the financials up to date? They giving us financials monthly? That's one of the things. The other issue is, I know we talked about it. We said you were going to have a little workshop on the lifeguards. Is there any update on that? That's all I have. I'll leave the bad stuff to Rick.
Thank you, Bruno.
Hi, I'm Lori Otline, and I'm here on behalf of the Turtle Patrol. And basically, all I want to do is thank you guys. Thank you so much for the balloon ban. I'm working now at the county, and they're going to try and enforce an ordinance as well. So thank goodness for that. And just for all that you guys do for us. I mean, we have the shed right there in the parking lot. You give us the water. We have a new hose that Bill got us. So it's just been great. I just can't thank you guys enough for all the support that you give this whole city, and you guys too. Tortugas has been so great. And I was so disappointed this year that Turtle Fest was going to be at Marineland again. It's not my calling. It's the one ahead of me. I'm second in line, so I don't make the big decisions. But next year we're having it at Flagler Beach, absolutely, definitely. Because Marineland is just, they're not my people. I can't hang out there. So it's just ridiculous. But what happens is she does a lot of stuff at Marineland, so she thought, because they have the building and this and that, and it's just crazy. But we're not going there next year. We're definitely in Flagler Beach. So thank goodness. And that's about it. Oh, and we will be at Flagler Strong Family Day with our booth and all that kind of stuff. So thank you guys for everything that you do for the turtles.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, Lori.
Thank you for what you do.
Hello, I'm Carol Katsolis. I live at 2099 Joyce Street, and I have something I'd like to bring to your attention as a public safety matter. There's the new car wash that you have planned to put in on the corner of John Anderson and Route 100. And there is a sidewalk that runs from Joyce Street to Route 100 on the east side of John Anderson. And then there's the crosswalk there, so someone can push a button and cross the Route 100 on foot. And if you are familiar with the area, 1 block south of Joyce Street is Leslie Street, and if you walk down that little hill, there's a senior apartment complex. And I notice very often when I go out early in the morning that these elderly people they walk up Leslie Street and they get on that little sidewalk and they go to the crosswalk. And it's really scary to begin with, because I've seen an elderly man with his walker crossing that, and I have trouble practically running across that intersection. And then someone with a little electric cart, and another person I've seen with pushing a little cart with wheels. So my worry is that when the car wash goes in, the exit and the entrances are right on that stretch where the sidewalk is. On John Anderson, the traffic is not going to go onto Route 100. It's all going to go on John Anderson. So what happens to these pedestrians? Where are they going to walk? That's safe. I looked across the street on the west side of John Anderson, and there is a short sidewalk that goes as far as CVS, and then it stops. You can't walk further than that because there's a big mound or a little hill, and that's got, I don't know, street lights and other big utility poles there. So you'd have to walk right on the road, and that's very dangerous. So my question is, there has to be some protection for these people, as well as bicyclists. As we know, people come on the bicycles up John Anderson, and they either continue to Roberts Road or they go toward the beach. But no matter what, with an entrance and an exit sitting on John Anderson, I don't see how that could not wind up with accidents, pedestrian, bicyclists. And I mean, I did call Mr. Torino, and I spoke to him the other day on the phone, and he agreed. He said this is a legitimate concern, and he thinks that something should be done now and not later. And I feel very strongly about this, because I see these little people, and you can give some of them a ride in your car, but it doesn't always work to do otherwise. So please give this consideration, and we don't want anyone to get hurt. Thank you.
Anybody else in the audience like to speak? Okay, I will close public comments, and we will address each one of these, starting with Brad. I was not aware that our ordinance and fee structure versus what the police chief has on his website is not. Go ahead.
I'll work with PD.
You will? Okay.
Yeah, we'll try to iron it out.
Yeah, and I would just further add that we're going to try to make it simpler next year when we get our app up.
Right.
We'll actually be able to do it all online, and we won't have to, come in, have people come in and things. So we're going to work on improvement of the process, but I think it's good to match practice with the rule, because that was probably passed some time ago, and then how the staff administers it gets out of sync. So we'll work that out.
Okay, thank you. Thomas brought up relooking at food vendors for First Friday.
Hold on, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
One other thing he brought up was about the sidewalk. That has to do with that has to do with the fact that the sidewalk in the area near the South Tower is 8 foot wide, and that's a state law. That says you can operate a golf cart on, an 8 foot section versus the other standard 6 foot sections, and it doesn't meet the rule. So
right, which is the issue we had with
so that it has to do with the state law. That's not our rule, and that's why that's like that.
Should we update the ordinance wording?
Mm-hmm. When I work with PD, we'll bring to you anything, if we need to change anything in the ordinance to bring it in line with practice, we'll do that.
Yeah. Can I just make one comment? Our golf course, it makes sense that golf carts can get to the golf course.
Yeah, you have to come to the podium.
Okay, sorry. It makes sense that, I mean, according to this, it says FDOT is created a variance that allows us to do that. So it makes sense that golf carts should be able to get to our golf course. So maybe we could put some signs up on the sidewalk that would tell people you're allowed to drive here.
I think there is, if I remember cruising through there.
Is there? Okay, I'll check it out. Thank you. Have a good night.
Okay, Mr. Kilpatrick brought up food vendors for First Friday. Is that not allowed? Because we do have...
If you may, the CRA created this event to help businesses in the CRA. These are stick-built businesses or brick-and-mortar businesses that pay taxes here. Food trucks don't pay taxes here.
Correct.
And so the conflict is the commission's desire to implement the CRA plan and, you know, have the benefit go to the local businesses that are paying the taxes here. Now, we can debate this back and forth or whatever, but that was the policy decision that this commission made, and that's why the contract reads no food truck vendors.
But you can set up a tent like Beach Belly Bob's has with a flat top, and highly encourage you to do that because I want to try your food.
Well, wait a minute. I thought we were emphasizing Flagler Beach businesses. Isn't Vern?
Yeah, look, Vern has the lead on this. We need to let him and his staff work that out. So
Yeah.
that's the only
Let's
comment
not
I
go
have
make
with a contract.
promises we can't keep.
We have businesses from Palm Coast that are set up tents there currently now. We have several.
And I thought we were supposed to be sticking to Flagler Beach. Well, okay, let Vern work it out.
No, sir.
There is a lot of, just from a health department standpoint, a lot of issues with setting up a tent and a flat top. Being able to keep food temps right and all that stuff without, you have to have a lot of additional equipment that, and I don't know what Beach Belly Bob's setup is, so I don't know if he's in compliance. I'm assuming yes. I know for a lot of restaurants, and even when I've talked to like Johnny and Scott about possibly setting up, they have spoken of it. It's so much work to try to bring the amount of equipment you need to do it right, and that's why they don't. And I'm not trying to speak for you, Scott, but because I've really wanted to get these guys out at First Friday, and they're like, if we have a tent, we just can't do it because you can't get the equipment there in order to stay within compliance with the health department. So it is an issue even for our existing businesses to be able to do it. And we probably need to look at, and I don't know the answer, we can't work it now, but we do need to look at how can we make it so these folks can get some equipment onto site to be able to do it and be in health code compliance. The tents don't work for a lot of folks, and I've heard that directly from Johnny and Scott. I think you and I have talked about it, and they want to do it. They just can't and do it right, because you don't want to set up at First Friday and then serve a plate of not good food that's not really prepared well, or you're cooking on like a camping flat top, and then everybody's going to be like, well, that was terrible, I'm not going there. And you've defeated your own purpose. So I think we have, this is kind of like the issue identified, but I don't have a solution. It's something that will need work, though.
So is Vern vetting the different?
He is, and not to cut this short, but just for the commission's information, we are scheduling a CRA meeting for the 28th, so we can add this to the agenda if you so desire. But I can tell you it's a Pandora's box.
I just want to make sure we're fair across the board to all the businesses, because I think, you know, not to question anything that Vern did, but I want to say it was maybe our January 1st Friday. There was the lady there with the fried stuff. So I just, you know,
Not
I don't.
there anymore.
Okay,
I told her she can't come.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I just want to make sure that, you know, again, we're being fair to.
You got it. I saw them, and after that, she's been arguing with me back and forth on email ever since, and the answer's no, until you change it.
Okay, can I ask a question about the snow cone person that is considered?
Yeah, that was an exception you made in the contract negotiations early on.
Okay. Okay.
It's specifically in the contract.
Okay, I didn't realize that. I think it's something we should add on the 28th for the CRA discussion.
I would agree. You good with that?
I'm not in favor of food trucks, so.
Well, yeah, just over the discussion in general about ways to make it so even our own proprietors can get out there.
Yes, that I'm willing to discuss, yes.
Okay, Mr. Kilpatrick, I'm sorry, your time. You had your time, so.
Oh, I didn't know if I could speak or not. I was just listening to you guys, that's all.
Okay. Rick Bellhumor, benches, they can't be, I guess 17th Street, is it North, Rick, that has one? And the others do?
I'm checking that with DEP right now.
Okay.
So I will get back to you on that.
Okay, what about the dead palm?
Again, it's just a list of things I got to get to. I mean, we don't have a perfect city, and everything's not going to be perfect, so
that's fine.
I'm going to try to follow up on that.
Okay.
We trimmed all the trees like we were requested, and Vertigo is no longer our contractor. We let them go. And the trimming of the trees was a settle up that we did, and we actually came in under budget that we thought we would, so that was good.
That's good. Also, the crosswalks being dark.
Yeah, look, I mean, there are all kinds of things going on with the lighting, and we just have to look into it. And I'm sorry I don't have an answer.
Okay.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
Just one question. Is it possible to do a social media blast on the north side FDOT walkovers that the neighbors have been waiting so patiently on for 2 years? Just saying, hey, these are open now.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, we had been waiting on handrails and the inspection, but if they're in, okay, I wasn't told.
Yeah, I don't know if they're done or not.
I want to make sure I check with the building official to make sure the inspection has been done.
Okay, thank you. Charles brought up speeding. Speeding's always an issue in the city, has been for a long time. Matt, you have your police officers out and about. Can you talk a little bit about after First Friday,
So just today, we had 2 officers working today. We're 25% shorthanded. So that's not something I'm proud of, but it needs to be said. So I had 2 officers working today that ran radar or watched crosswalks for over 4.5 hours in response to 10 calls for service, 11 calls for service that they initiated, and along with address and parking. I'm only the manager of the team, but when there's 2 people to cover 6 miles, that's a lot. So, food for thought.
Yeah, makes it tough.
Yeah, so we educate. I put a post out the other day about wrong way parking. You guys
Gotta
don't
do that fish one again.
That's the one I just did, was the fish.
Yeah.
I've got some more coming, and I have people commenting on social media, this is stupid, what a dumb law. It's probably one of the safest laws out there because you have to cross oncoming traffic twice.
Right.
And then to be blasted saying y'all don't do anything about it.
Where in America can you park the wrong way?
I don't know.
When the appeals come to the magistrate, those are the citations that are most frequent, almost exclusively. That's almost the only appeals that we get is people parking the wrong way, and then they come to the magistrate and said, I never knew I couldn't park the wrong way.
Just tell them it's in page 36 of the Florida Driver's Handbook.
Okay, thank you, Chief. Bruno brought up the golf course and the financials. Are we going to talk about that during?
I was going to, but do it now. And
No, let's wait.
Okay.
Let's wait.
Also to workshop, a lifeguard workshop. I know we briefly talked about it.
Next meeting.
Next meeting? Thank you.
Been planned for the 28th.
Okay. Carol brought up a really good point about public safety and protection of the pedestrians that are walking along Leslie, Joyce.
Yeah, if I could add, I think Carol and I had a discussion on the phone as well. And I live, as William does, right there. Coming out of CVS onto John Anderson, I've become aware of who's walking around and paying attention more. And I saw a man in an electric scooter on the east side of John Anderson because it would totally have not been safe on the west side. The people that live in, it's Pine something, I forget the Section 8 housing behind CVS. They do try to come out and walk around, and so I don't know if we could ask for, I know it's a county road and the county ultimately has the decision, which is what I think I told Carol, but I've become more aware of late since this whole car wash issue of who's around there. And I think we need speed bumps or something that will slow the traffic down. And, you know, I'm not a traffic engineer, but there has to be something that will make things safe for people.
If I may comment, Larry and I have been talking about that, and I've also sent an email over to the county trying to address several questions, not just this lady's, but other questions on that development. So I'll be getting with the county and the county engineering staff to address this. And it's basically a pedestrian traffic conflict, which, you know, Ed Finley and all these other people have been working to, you know, have safe streets. And this is just part of it. As we grow, these intersections will have to be improved. And we'll have to integrate, you know, safety measures as we go. And so Larry has been talking with me about it. I've been trying to reach the county. Haven't connected yet, but I do plan to discuss it with them. And in fact, the manager's lunch is coming up next week, and that'll be on my agenda to talk to Heidi about.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to the consent agenda. Does anyone on the board have any questions regarding, the consent agenda?
I just have to read into record the Form 8B Memorandum of Voting Conflict filed by Commissioner Cooley for item 10 at your March 24th meeting.
Okay.
And the nature of his voting conflict is he was the event organizer and will be conducting the nonprofit event, so he refrained from voting. That's it.
That's it. Okay, thank you. Anyone else on the board have any questions on the consent agenda?
I have one thing, not to pull anything, just to let you know, I've let Mr. Whitson know, we occasionally do work for Danella, so just so you know, if anything comes up between the city and Danella on that contract, we'll have to get conflicts counsel.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Do any members of the audience wish to make any comments on our consent agenda?
I just wanted to make another comment about.
Sir, you can't speak from the back row. Did you have a comment regarding the consent agenda?
Is that what this agenda is or what I was speaking about? I don't know how this works, so I don't.
Okay,
you know,
no, you're off topic. Yeah.
All right. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Okay, can I have a motion?
A motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
All in favor of approving the consent agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, moving on to general business. We're going to receive a brief presentation and Q&A regarding a Metronet fiber optic network installation. Chris, are you here? Hi, Chris. Come on up.
Thank you, Mayor and Commissioners, for having me this evening. My name is Chris Smith. I am the Director of Government Affairs for Metronet. So I'm here tonight. I also have several members of the Metronet team with me. One that I want to make sure that I just introduce and have wave your way. He is a local here to Florida, but it's our project director, Marty McKinney, here on the end. He's going to be in charge of the project. So I'm here tonight to review with you what happens next as we partner together to bring 100% fiber optics to Flagler Beach. And so it's going to be a little awkward because it's going on behind me.
Sorry,
God bless you. Thank you. Hopefully I'll go the right direction.
You can turn the mic around.
Is that good? Thank you.
Either side.
Thank you. I hate to turn around.
That's okay.
So one of the things that we focus on at Metronet is we want to communicate as much as possible with both you as city government, also the residents. This is a big undertaking. It's a big construction project. So one of the things we like to say, or that I will stress, is communicate, communicate, communicate. We want to reduce any surprises that are related to the construction project. More importantly, I do this in a lot of communities. I don't want resident phone calls to flow into you all. Our goal is to try to redirect as many people as we can back to Metronet, because we can answer those questions promptly and effectively for your residents. There will be a 3-part construction communication process from the construction department that will go out. Again, we want that to flow out so that residents feel more comfortable contacting us. So we'll start that process with a letter. And that letter is basically going to say, who's Metronet? Are we allowed to be here? And what is the nature of what we're trying to create or do here in Flagler? So we also put a little blurb on there about the price, because we inevitably get that question quite a bit. So one of the main things I would tell you guys is that I know everyone reads the mail that comes to their house from strange companies that they've never heard of before. Everyone, and they read it thoroughly. So that in mind, right? About 10 to 14 days prior to entering that neighborhood, that letter's going to hit 45 to 30. So about 10 to 14 days, maybe they missed the letter. So we're going to send a postcard. It's going to be a neon type color. It's going to say construction underway. Here's how to contact Metronet. There's an 800 number that will be on that, as well as the letter. And we'll also have a web address that's dedicated solely to construction. Again, I'm just trying to grab attention to say, hey, construction's coming. Don't be surprised when you see folks out there. The next thing that we'll do is about 3 to 5 days prior to the start of construction, we're going to post these turf signs, and they're, you know, similar if you get your yard sprayed, something of that size. And then we'll also place a larger version, which is this sign here. It's about the size of a realtor sign. We'll place those at the entrance and exit of neighborhoods. If it's a very densely populated neighborhood, we might place several on corners, because as people are mowing their yards, doing their lawn care, they might see that sign. They don't want to keep it there. Again, whatever I can do to grab folks' attention to let them know that something's coming their way, and that's going to be happening soon. This is an example of an easement flyer. So Metronet's construction work will all take place in the right-of-way and in the utility easements. We'll get permits from the city, but that's where our work will take place. So if we find that that person's easement is in their backyard, just like my house, and it's behind a fence, we'll knock the door the day before. We'll place this flyer. We'll say, hey, we're coming. Again, please call us if you have questions or concerns. So I spoke a minute ago about that construction website. So I also have provided this information to Mr. Whitson, but we want folks to call us or go to our website. We have a ticketing system that we operate from. The website for construction is dedicated solely to construction. So it's something the city and you commissioners should feel free to post on your social media. It is not a sales location. You're not advocating for Metronet. It's strictly construction centric. That was tricky to say. So, but it's very construction centric. So you can go there. There's a tab called Ask Questions. It's a very easy form. You give us your name, your address. You let us know what your question or concern is. Could be restoration. Could be things like, hey, I've got an electric dog fence. What do I need to do to make sure your folks don't tear that up? I've got an irrigation system. What can I do to help you guys not hit that location? We also, on that letter, will talk about, we bring flags out to people so they can mark those for us since they're private facilities. Sometimes we'll bring the washable spray paint that's white, and they can use that in their yard, and it's as simple as the next time you mow your grass, it's gone. So we try to make it as easy as possible for folks to communicate with us. Anyone that does go visit our website and enter a ticket, or if they call our 800 number, we will enter the ticket for them. We will respond to all tickets within 24 hours or 1 business day. And that's a metric that I'll show you in a minute. We'll be transparent with you about, but that we hold very, very dearly here at Metronet. It's important to us to, again, always be in constant communication during the process. Also on this website, which you can't really see it very well here, on the front page, You can choose, as we get closer to the start of construction for Flagler, but you can choose the city. An interactive map will come up. Residents will be able to enter their address. It will show, are they under construction? Is it future construction? Is construction complete? In case they're not sure who's doing the work. The restoration process. So, you know, one of the things I can't stress enough for you guys, and I can't stress enough with residents, is probably this type of telecom work hasn't happened in quite a while. So it's messy, it's invasive at best. We restore as we go. So you might see a giant machine. You might see folks digging a man in a hole. Within 24 to 36 hours, that should be restored. We restore as we move along in areas. So it should be a quick restoration process. But if there's questions, we didn't put something back the way that someone liked it. Maybe we did damage the sprinkler system and we didn't realize it. And it's been a few days and you turn your system on. We want folks to be able to communicate with us and know that we will make it right. We want to put it back the way we found it. The other thing I think is important to note, there are a lot of utility companies out there. We will be the most visual that you will see. We will have trucks that are marked that will say Metronet or contractor for Metronet. All Metronet crews and representatives will wear safety vests that will say Metronet or contractor for Metronet. They are also required to wear a picture ID badge so that whoever you're speaking with, you should be able to say, hey, that's Chris Smith, and I saw a Metronet truck. I saw a Metronet note on their back. You should be clear that it's Metronet. In the case that it's not, we're going to be sharing that information with the city as well through a daily street sheet. And we've already had a pre-construction meeting with the city to talk about those kinds of things. Again, we want to make this as easy a process as we can, but it is construction. This is an example of that reporting. So the tickets I mentioned to you earlier, we're going to respond to those within 24 hours. Our goal is to close all construction-related tickets within 8 days, business days. There are times where maybe it's concrete related or it's a special kind of sod and we might need to involve a third party and those tickets might take a little bit longer. But one of the things I've committed to the city is that we'll review that reporting with you monthly and just keep an eye, let you keep an eye on how the project is going. This is an example of some of the equipment that we'll be using, and I think this is important for you guys in case you do get residential questions. So on the right, you'll see an example of the aerial equipment that we use. It's that can that's down there in the kind of the right corner. On the left, those are some of our underground facilities. All of our equipment will be mounted flush to the ground. We do that, again, to try to be the least invasive as possible. So the round one we nicknamed a flower pot. It's about the size of a sewer lid. The one below that's called a vault. And those are how we will connect different pieces of the city or neighborhoods together. Those flower pots are where if a resident does decide to order service from, we'll pull that connection from there into the home. And it is all 100% fiber optics. This is a construction business card that all crew members will carry for us. There are times where we'll hire crews or we'll have folks out in the field. Maybe English is their second language. So we have them carry these business cards so that if there's ever a language barrier that someone can communicate directly with them and reach one of us. Or maybe it's just something one of my construction crews can't answer. If it's a question like that, they can get to someone immediately at Metronet. This is one of the tabs that's on our construction website. It's got a couple of quick videos. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Until I worked in the construction department, I didn't know where my easement was. I had no idea. And a lot of folks don't, right? Sometimes you can look out there, sometimes you can see the telecom boxes and it's very easy to understand. Sometimes you're like, oh yeah, how does that come into my house? So we want to talk a little bit about where those locations are, that we do have permission to be in that area. Please.
I was having trouble getting the videos to run and another video presentation. It's a brand new.
Oh, I wasn't planning. You're good. You're good.
You send me the links or I can look them up, but we can post them
Yeah.
to our website.
That would be great. That would be great. And I have some examples I can share with you. Just briefly, I've been with Metronet for the past 12 years. I've been in the construction side of the house going on almost 4 years. So I have a lot of great things that you guys can utilize for social media, including frequently asked questions. I have the YouTube links for these videos if you'd like to utilize those. Lots of other communities like to put those on social media. Like I said, 12 years, but 4 years ago before I understood an easement. That's a lot of us. The other one is a little bit about construction, and it shows some of the machines that we use for drilling. Sometimes that can be a little bit alarming to someone who looks out the window and sees the machine and thinks, oh no, and then 2 days later they can't tell that we were there, and that's our goal. So this is also my information. This is my cell number that's on here. So I would hope that you guys would take that down. If you have questions, if there's any way that I can help, I'm already in contact with Mr. Whitson, and we're working together to help get some things posted out there for you guys. So not only are we going to be sending things, but I did mention to you, we have a really great frequently asked questions document. I often encourage other commissioners to share if they do newsletters monthly. Whatever I can do to help to communicate to residents. The big thing is they just want to know what's going on and what we're doing, and we want to be in partnership with them in that.
Chris, can I ask a question before I open up to other commissioners? Can you just kind of take a step back and explain what is fiber optics for residents that just don't even know what that is? And do they have to subscribe to the service?
No, ma'am. Okay. No, ma'am. So this is a private investment that we're making in the city. And so it will be our dime that goes in. We want to do it the right way. Residents will have a choice, which is what we're excited to bring to the community. We're going to bring that choice for a telecom provider. 100% fiber optics is great. And just to tie in a little bit to your vision statement, supporting the development of local businesses to provide services to residents. Fiber optics provides a connection that is uncomparable to normal traditional cable and traditional internet. It's 100% at the speed of light dedication. It is also symmetrical. So right now today for local residents, we offer a 1 gigabit, or that's 1,000 megabits per second, and that's download and upload. I think we can all agree, especially over the last couple of years, we recognize how crucial working from home is, how crucial being able to utilize Zoom, Teams. One of the things fiber optics can also do is it can really help with economic development, because businesses are looking for that fiber optic connection for their locations. So it is a really safe, secure, better option for folks who can utilize a gig of speed.
Thank you.
A question. With other projects that we've brought into the city that are as invasive as what you're doing, we held tailgate meetings with the people in the community.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it works nicely. I know we have a gentleman here who was part of that because he was causing the mayhem. So if there would be something like that that you could work out. We have, you keep talking about the internet and all that, which is of course what you're making better for us. But we have a lot of residents who even don't have computers. You know, it's older crowd, they just not interested. So, but they're going to have this happen in front of their house, regardless of whether it's going to help them directly or not. So I think to do something personal, like a tailgate meeting, you know, if they want to come, they'll come.
Yeah.
So if that's something you can work out with the city staff.
So one of the things we'll be doing is we're actually building a lot of the surrounding communities to Flagler. So we will have a local storefront that will go in. I don't know where yet. I know we're shopping around, but that's something that's also really great. And we'll have lots of community involvement. So we'll be involved in parades. We'll want to get involved in tailgates. Sound like a really fun thing that I would even enjoy going to. So we'll do a lot to have a lot of community involvement. We'll also hire a lot of local folks to work for Metronet. So that's one of the biggest things. We want to be a good steward to the city. And so that communication is key. If we don't get off on the right foot when we start, you know, why did we do the project? So it's really important to us to be able to connect and become a part of your community. And we're very excited about that.
And this is going to be on every street throughout the city?
Ma'am, every street, and we'll pass every single home. But again, we're providing a choice. And I know a lot of folks, you know, maybe they don't own a PC, and maybe they don't do a lot with the internet, but more and more people are streaming TV. Right. And so that's another key thing. You know, on Saturday night, when you're trying to watch that movie on Netflix with your family, you don't want to see the Wheel of Death while you're waiting and waiting and waiting for it to upload. So, you know, there are lots of different ways that things connect nowadays. And so we hope to be able to provide that reliable choice to you.
Thank you.
What is your timeline that you're looking at? Because I think this is wonderful. I get the spinning wheel of death sometimes, and
Nobody
I
enjoys
download
that.
a lot. So
Yeah. So what we're looking at today is we're still in the design process, honestly. I think the big thing is we're trying to cross the intercoastal waterway to get here. So we're looking at the beginning of the year before we'll start with construction crews in the areas and starting on those rings. I think we talked initially about, I believe it's a 12 to 18 month build out process for here. Is that what you recall as well, William?
Yes, ma'am. And on the crossing the intercoastal waterway, don't forget that in our American Rescue Act plan, we have fiber planned, and we may be doing some crossings and or would be willing to share and coordinate with you. So if we can help you deliver service that will improve the citizen's life, then yeah, we want to do that. So let's talk about that.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you.
So this question is more, I guess, for Mr. Whitson. So one of the mentions was easement construction and 24 to 48 hours. You know, as we know, it's kind of been a contentious topic here in the city. So how are we going to approach, you know, some of the residents that may have those rocks and, you know, those different things? I mean, I think we might need to, are we going to have a plan out? So maybe 30 days out, we know, hey, we're going to be on, you know, the 2000 block of the, you know, South Central. You know, residents, if you have rocks there or some, you know, those bushes, you know, whatever it might be that they might need a little bit longer of time to move those things. Is that something we're going to strategically plan out during that process?
Yes, sir. The way the process will work for us is that everything has to cross Lee Richards' desk, and then he's, of course, immediately in touch with code enforcement. So as they plan the grid out, they have to apply for a permit. And so those permit lead times are generally a month out or sometimes 60 days. So we'll have plenty of time to have some advanced communications. And again, we can tie in Commissioner Mealy's comment about tailgates. And maybe we have a tailgate block by block because we have some rather long blocks in some places. So yeah, we will do that coordination in advance communication, and it'll kind of be triggered through our permit process.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Commissioner Cooley, do you have any questions? I just have one last question, kind of the elephant in the room, cost. Are your costs comparable with the AT&Ts of the worlds and the Spectrums? And
Yeah, so what I'm going to tell you is that we're extremely competitive. So we're going to be right in line. I'm not going to stand up here and say that we're cheaper. We're right in line. The picture I showed you, the letter that goes out, I think it's a $59.95 offering for a 1 gig symmetrical speed. It is a month-over-month contract, so there is no long-term contracts. You don't have to sign up with us and be committed. We want you to test us out and see how it applies to your life. Commissioner Mealy mentioned, you know, not everybody is tech savvy and is on the internet all the time. So we want to be.
I can't imagine it, but.
Well, but we just want it to be a good option. You know, everybody uses the internet very, very differently, and it seems like, you know, year over year, this talk changes. I mean, I think my new stove talks to the internet now. So, I mean, it's just different than it used to be even 3 and 4 years ago. So yes, that we're going to be very competitive. We'll have specials, we'll have deals. Our marketing team would be another tier where they'll start flooding areas. What I failed to mention to you all is as we build and release an area, we will actually let that area turn up for service. So folks aren't waiting that full year to 18 months to be able to sign up. As we can finish one area, we will release that. Folks can sign up, get services, and then we'll move on to the next area.
Okay. Thank you, Chris.
My pleasure.
Any other questions? William?
No questions, but if I may make a few brief comments. As the city manager, I have a lot of different things to say grace over, and a retrofit of fiber optics in our community, from my point of view, is absolutely huge. It's just a game changer. Even though someone may not have internet at their house or not even want it, if they ever go to sell that property, that's a good selling point. I got fiber to the home. So that'll increase their value.
I was only trying to, the way of reaching the people through the internet is not, that's what I was trying to get at.
Sure.
To inform them. Whether they use it or not, that's their business.
Absolutely, but it does help to know that fiber to the home is just a huge game changer. So it also, will transform the way people do business in the city. It's good for the city. It puts us in another tier of because we're in competition with other communities to attract business and residents. So this is a good thing. And then the last thing I'll say is I've been doing this a long, long time. And so far, I hope that this company lives up to their promises. But so far, they have done what they said, and I'm looking forward to it. And if we can keep on this track record and pathway, we'll do very well, because I've just seen a lot of companies come in and they just really don't care. They just dig up your right of way. They just the public right of way, so they have a right to be there, and they just, cut gas lines, water lines, sewer lines, and it didn't matter. But these people seem to be off to a good start, and I'm encouraged, and I think this will be great for the city. So
you can brag that you're a gigabit city now.
There you go.
There's your buzzword for tonight. Thank you all very much for your time.
Thank you, Chris. This is not an action item, correct? Was this more informative? Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
I felt it was important to make sure you as the community leaders knew about something that's going to be a lot of activity and questions around, and didn't want you to be caught by surprise.
And I appreciate that, because when we went through the nonsense with Tico, we did not know that they were here. And so I really appreciate going through this. Thank you. And thank you.
Okay, moving on to number 12, ordinance 2022. Drew?
Penny, do you have an ordinance number assigned for this one?
Pardon me?
I was asking Penny if she had an ordinance number assigned. Do you?
I think it's 5, but be safe, go to 6.
Okay, so ordinance number 2022-6. An ordinance of the City of Flagler Beach, Florida relating to signs, amending Article 7 of the City of Flagler Beach Land Development Regulations relating to signs, amending provisions related to temporary signs, expanding the area in which temporary A-frame signs, also known as sandwich signs, are allowed, providing for severability, providing for codification, conflicts, and an effective date. And this has been to PAR Board. PAR Board recommended approval of it, and this is the ordinance you asked for that expands the A-frame signs allowance through the entire tourist commercial zoning district.
Commissioner Mealy?
Yeah, when we first approved the sandwich signs in this area, it was also including in the CRA. Actually, it was a CRA issue when it first came up. So, like on line 28, where it says the city has allowed temporary sandwich signs in the downtown mixed-use and A1A retail corridor, should it not also include the CRA?
The CRA, I think, is encapsulated by those. Because I think the code doesn't reference the CRA. Those are zoning districts. The CRA is something different. We try not to zone around the CRA. So I think the code is those, but I think that's why those were used, was because I think the CRA is within those boundaries.
Okay, I think I see what you're saying. Line 30, businesses have, I think you want responsibly.
Responsibly, yes, ma'am, thank you.
Okay, I wanted to put CRA on line 32, but I understand what you said. Line 36, why is it only tourist commercial and not general commercial as well?
General commercial means you're also across the bridge.
Correct. So?
Up to you.
I'm fine with it, including that.
Okay. Is everybody okay with?
Yeah, of course. Yes.
Okay, so it would be on line 36 and I thought there was another one.
72.
Yes, and 72. And 85.
And Drew, just for clarity, general is the only higher intense use there is than tourist commercial, correct? There's no others?
Well, there's highway commercial.
Highway commercial.
Should we do that
Well, I
too?
guess we, yeah.
It only makes sense. Tourist and,
Pretty much across the bridge.
yeah, I would include that.
Okay. Everybody good with that?
Everybody good with highway? Okay.
Mm-hmm, yeah, all the commercial zones, yeah.
Okay.
Anybody have any questions? Anybody in the audience like to speak on our sign ordinance, updating our sign ordinance? Or sandwich sign ordinance, I should say. Okay, I'm looking for a motion.
Make a motion to approve ordinance number 2022-0, maybe 6.
As amended.
As amended.
I'll second the motion.
Motion approved. Thank you.
Roll call.
Oh, sorry.
Commissioner Sherman?
Yes.
Commissioner
Wait, did we
Mealy?
do public comment?
Yes, she
Yeah,
did. No one
okay,
came
I'm
up.
sorry.
Yeah, she asked for.
Sorry.
You know what I'm doing?
Start over.
Hey, I just
Commissioner
know
Sherman?
it's a thing to miss.
Yes.
Commissioner Mealy?
Yes.
Commissioner Cooley?
Yes, the motion.
Vice Chair Phillips?
Yes. Motion passes. Thank you. I'll reach out to Beach Belly Bob to let them know. Okay, moving on to staff reports. Our wonderful city attorney.
So golf course?
Yep.
Legal process now. I think you've all received the complaint that they filed last week asking for a declaratory judgment from the court asking the court to tell them whether or not we can evict them. Interesting strategy. I think it's meant to slow things down. We tweaked ours a little bit this week based on what they filed. City manager reviewed it today, gave us a thumbs up to go ahead. I'm holding on to it. I have an 11:30 with the new lawyer tomorrow to chat, and I thought I'd give them that opportunity and let them know that we'll be filing an eviction action. So the filing of that declaratory judgment pretty much told us that they're not going to just hand over the keys. So that's where we are. And if any of you have any questions about it, I always, for the newer ones, when we're in litigation, I don't say a lot here because I don't want to divulge strategy, but if you'd like to have the conversation, you're always welcome to call me.
Okay, and Drew, what about the financials? Have they been providing us with any paperwork or? That's done, okay. Thank you.
Yeah, the lease is terminated, so.
But they're arguing that it's not, so if that may be an issue still.
City manager?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Have just a few items to go over with you. Our outstanding librarian gave me a flyer. Wanted everybody to know that we're going to have a book sale Thursday, April 28th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Yes.
And Friday, April 29th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And last chance on Saturday, April 30th from 10 a.m. to noon. So you get 3 bites of the apple on the book sale.
I love the last chance thing.
Yeah.
But that was
Those book sales are always very well done.
If you haven't heard by now and you've been living under a rock, we're very close to announcing the arrival of Big Blue.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Big Blue
I wish you
is
wouldn't
coming.
keep it a secret.
Big Blue is coming, and we're excited. I did a radio interview today on WNZF, and we just can't wait to unveil Big Blue Thursday, April 21st at 10 a.m. So be there and wear blue. The citizen survey is still out there. I'd like to remind people to take the citizen survey. It takes 7 or 8 minutes at the most. So far, we have 286 people that have taken the survey, so we appreciate that. For those who have started the survey but didn't finish it, we'd like for you to finish it. And then we would like to encourage people to, as many people as we could, to take the survey. We'll be not finalizing it, but just kind of stopping it for a minute before the strategic planning retreat and let you know how many responses we have and kind of the flavor and character of the conversation. So we're excited about that. It's going well. The meter replacement program that you authorized, thank you, is underway. And they're out there digging and, taking the meters up and putting in the new equipment. And our staff couldn't be happier. And we really appreciate it. It's
William, I have a question about that.
Yes, ma'am.
It was said that we were going to be getting notices at our house. I have not yet received anything, but I have no idea when they're going to come across the bridge. There's like within a certain time frame of when it's going to happen that the notice is sent to the people?
Yes. My understanding is that we're following the what they call the book that they read. The city has 4 books. So we go through the book route is how they're actually replacing them so that it matches the billing.
Okay.
And so as we go through the books, that'll be how we do it. And I don't know the timing on it. I just know they started on book number 1. And I don't know exactly where that is in the city, but
all those people receive something in the mail?
They should. They should. And we've had it out on the internet. I know, Matt, have y'all put it out on Facebook yet? So we're trying to get the word out, but it's just going to be huge. It's going to take our meter reading from, it usually takes us 2 to 3 weeks to read all the meters in the city. It's going to take us to about 6 hours.
It's amazing.
I mean, this technology is really cool. So we're really looking forward to this, and we appreciate your support. I'd like to remind everybody out there in the city and surrounding jurisdictions that we're looking for we don't want to, but we're looking for a finance director.
Yeah.
And our advertisement is out on the city website, and the position is open until May 3rd. So get your resumes polished up and your cover letters and send them in as soon as possible, and we'll take a look at that. Commissioner Bryan sends his regrets this evening that he couldn't make it, that he had surgery on his hand, and so he's at home in pain, trying to heal up. So I'll just extend his thoughts to you. And then I think I've shared with the commission and with the staff that I'm taking off for a few days to see some family on some family matters. And while I'm gone, I've given Katie Dockhorn, my new assistant, I've given her my no button. And I showed her how to use it, and it's in her office. And so, if you come into my office, think, oh, the boss is out of town, when I ask crazy things, she knows how to push the no button. So just thought I would share that with you. And that's it.
William, can you talk about Funky Pelican? Did we receive any bids?
Yes. Okay. No. Oh, yeah. Funky Pelican, we did receive a bid. We're in a Q&A period with the contractor to clarify some questions they had, some questions we had. But the good news is the budget, the quote they provided initially was within budget. And so if everything goes well and we get everything cleared up, I'll be back to you for award of that bid real soon.
Okay,
Yeah,
wonderful.
I got Drew on speed dial with that, and we've got to go through, we have to get a number first of what the renovation to the kitchen would cost
Right.
before we could even negotiate a deal with the user, our tenant. So there's some moving parts there that have to work through, but the base bid is in, so that's the biggest part of it, and then we're going to work through that. And then report to you about the invasive species vegetation, the peppers. You know, there's a growing season for those things, but I think we basically cut between April and October. And then when they start to have berries on them, you don't want to cut them because it just spreads them everywhere. The Brazilian
Make the
peppers.
birds very happy.
Yeah, and it's just crazy. So we have citizens out there that, God bless them, you know, they from California or wherever, and they self-initiate and they forget that, okay, that's not the time to cut these peppers, and they pile them up out there for us to remove. And with the fuel costs going up, we just wanted to encourage people not to do that. We will organize the pepper cutting process and advise the public through Matt and other social media. And, you know, we are even partnering with Flagler Strong. They have a newsletter, and they're going to be putting out stories for us too. So pay attention to the communication on the Brazilian peppers, because there's a specific season they get cut. We'll pick them up. But if you do it outside that season, we may have to bill you. I don't know. It's your city, you make the policy, but it's just getting to be a situation where with the price of fuel, we're going to have to pay attention to that situation.
I think it's just a lack of knowledge, and if you notice that they're there when the berries are on them.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just another green bush.
Exactly.
And so it'd be more tempting to cut it then. So I think it's...
Yeah, when they start showing their colors, that's the worst time to cut them.
Right.
So that's it. That's my report.
Oh, okay, thank you, William. Before I bring it back up here, Penny, do you have any comments? Okay.
Chief,
Oh, Chief. Okay, we're going to start right to my right. Commissioner Cooley.
All right, comments I got. I want to thank the mayor for another great beach cleanup, and also our previous mayor too, Linda P. Both out there getting it. And I was not able to attend that one. And just as a follow-up, Flagler Beach's first dog surfing contest has generated a lot of attention on social media. And
I love the comments.
Yeah. It's 99.9% of it has been positive, and then there's 0.1% of people that just don't have good taste. But it has generated a lot of positivity. A lot of folks really excited about it. We'll call it the unofficial mascot. Wednesday will be out at the next beach cleanup. Wednesday will be out at the next First Friday too, and we're gonna be working with the CRA director on a spot to put the tent that is, doggy approved. That's not on the grounds. So we were thinking like, here on the corner or something.
I hope Wednesday doesn't have an ego problem.
I think Wednesday.
He does.
I think she's developing one. She didn't used to. She's starting to get one now.
Let me know when she gives autographs.
Exactly. And that is all I got.
All right, yeah, mine's short too. I'd like to praise all our first responders for the reaction to the bomb threat. We've not had a meeting since then, and when I was out for dinner with the friend who Anthony Forte helped, and I come home and there's 3 calls from the city manager, and I'm like, this is a Sunday night, something is wrong. And so the response was terrific, and thank you for that. And just remind you from Flagler Strong that the farmers market is starting on Saturday from 8 to 12 at the Wick Line. So I'm sure we've worked out where on the property it is.
okay? Because that seemed to be a big deal. And so I hope people come out and see what it's all about. And that's it.
Okay. Commissioner Sherman?
Sure. So I just wanted to share a couple things with you guys between the last meeting. So I went to the A1A, our stretch of A1A is now a Great American Highway. We are one of 37 in the country. And it starts at Gamble Rogers, and then it's going to go 82 miles from there. So I was there for the ribbon cutting. Commissioner Cooley was there, or not Commissioner, I'm sorry, Commissioner Bryan was there at that. And also I just wanted to thank a few of our local residents that played a really big part in that. And that was, Commissioner Bellhumer, I believe Reagan Hansen, a few others here on this document that weren't there in attendance, but they're Flagler County residents that played a part in getting that designation here. So kind of to go on with that, maybe I think that's something we might want to look at to really, kind of make that work with our FB3 and maybe some of our other local businesses to maybe market that a little bit. I think it's going to be a wonderful opportunity for us to kind of, really market that in our area. And maybe we can possibly look at, maybe work with FDOT to, I don't know, Mr. Whitson, what the possibility is to see if we can get different groups to maybe adopt one of those drains and, maybe see if FDOT would allow us to do that and see, what organizations like maybe not to throw out the women's club, but maybe like a women's club or, Flagler Strong would take one or, whatever it might be an opportunity for us to take a little bit of pride and clean those up and, kind of have the aesthetics a little bit going there and, kind of show off our portion of this Great American Highway that we've been designated with. And I went to some of the workshops that day. It was really informative with FDOT. FDOT was there, and I believe the Department of Transportation was there as well. So there's some definitely some great things. And Danielle Anderson, I believe she was the one that actually put it on. She's one of our locals here that really pushed as well to get this designation. So
Been very involved.
Absolutely. So I learned a lot. And then I guess my last point here is about the invasive Brazilian peppers. It's one of the things I'm really passionate about. So I'd like to try to work with, if you work with Flagler Strong, maybe we can help out some of our residents that, might not be capable of cutting those down. And we, if they could identify themselves or if we sent out something, maybe Flagler Strong and in partnership with the city, we could, identify some of those residents that may need some additional help. Getting those cut down, during this time. Maybe that's something we can do collectively as a community. But I think that's all I have. Thank you.
I think it's a great idea.
I think so too.
I like that.
Mayor?
Just a couple things, keeping it short. I was asked to be a guest speaker for the Flagler County Board of Realtors Public Policy Committee meeting, so I was able to brag about our city and shared some of our upcoming projects. I was able to bring the site plan for the hotel, spoke about the car wash and our other new developments that we had on Roberts Road. So it was a good opportunity to answer questions and stop rumors. So it was just, that's really what
That's always a good thing.
Yes, from the horse's mouth. We also had our quarterly mayor's meeting. So I was able to speak with Palm Coast and Beverly Beach and Bunnell about what's going on in their cities. Just a couple things. I did mention annexation of Beverly Beach to Steve Emmett, and it was something that he was going to take back to his commission, and it might be something that they actually workshop. I did find out a long time ago Beverly Beach came to Flagler Beach and asked to be annexed in, and we turned them down. So he's like, tides have changed. So they're going to discuss it, and he'll just, it was very informal, bring it back to me to discuss. But he also shared that behind the Beverly Beach Town Hall, they have bricks laid. So it was something that I thought we could do similar to the park benches. We could sell bricks for our Veterans Park, and they sell them for $35 each. He has all the information. So as we could replace portions of the sidewalk with bricks with veterans' names if we start running out of spaces on the benches. And I thought that was a very great, it was a very good suggestion, and he can kind of walk us through the process with his vendors. I also was inquiring about it was almost a year ago, SWAT, Students Working Against Tobacco, had mentioned to me, and I brought it to the commission, about them setting up signs, and we had all agreed upon it, but they haven't done anything, so I wanted to bring it back in front of you, about putting no smoking signs at First Friday. We had discussed it, and before I reached back out to them, I wanted just to bring it up to everyone again. If make sure everyone is on board with it. Sure. Everyone, okay. We had a very successful cheer at the pier. It was so much fun. There was over 400. Yes. I'm still windburned. We had over.
Everybody said, "Where'd you get all the sun from?" And I said, "It wasn't necessarily sun. It was wind."
Kathy Wilcox said there was over 400 people that purchased tickets, and just a big thank you to the restaurant and all of the volunteers that showed up to make that event successful. And
Forgot to mention.
we had a thank you, Eric, for mentioning the beach cleanup. We always ask for more volunteers and residents to show up for that event. There's lots of trash, not enough volunteers. And then First Friday was also perfect. Yeah. The band was great, the weather was great. It's evolved into exactly what this city is needed. So just a thank you to everyone for that. Other than that, that's it.
Penny, William, and I met with a couple other city employees with the contractor of Pell Parker that's going to be doing Pell Parker at the park. And they're working with Lowe's to see if we can get any discounts. They're having a little bit of issues with supplies, no surprise there.
Really?
But William made, reconfirm that this has to be done by the end of September. Otherwise, we'll lose our grant money. Right. And they heard that loud and clear, which was great. I did have a resident reach out to me. There is a lot for sale at the end of Pell Parker. It is adjacent to Pell Parker. It's for sale for $80,000. I don't believe it's buildable. I talked to the realtor. He didn't really, his son owns it. So his son owns it. And he told me to call the county if I wanted to build on it. So I don't know if that's something we're interested in purchasing at all for any water retention. I don't know if it makes sense. I don't know enough about the property.
Brief comment?
Yes.
If it's contiguous and we check it out and everything kind of checks the box, we might be able to ask the state conservation folks who gave us the land to buy the money to buy the land in the first place, if they'd be interested in that to, add to the property.
Right.
And in fact, when we were out there working with the state, we were walking around looking at it. I pointed out a few areas to them, and I said, well, if we brought you back some proposals for adding land, would you be interested? And he said, he didn't say no. Okay. He didn't say yes, but he didn't say no. And so I think their mission is to preserve these areas and not let the development overtake. That's the whole point of the Florida Forever or Florida's Communities Trust. So if there's consensus that that's something you'd be interested in, we could kick those tires and see if they would entertain an application.
So I would like to have you further research that if we have a consensus.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah, the property's up for sale for $80,000. Just FYI.
Yeah.
Okay, and it is
absolutely
contiguous. Actually, the address I sent you earlier, Penny, was incorrect because I talked to. Okay, perfect. So, yeah, if you could research that, that would be wonderful.
If we find that it's contiguous, would you want me to go ahead and just ask the state?
Yes, and it's lot 18. It doesn't have any address, it's lot 18.
You got that, Penny? All right, got it.
Okay, that's all. I think that's all I had. Thank you. Okay, we're going to open it up to the public a second time. So if anybody from the public would like to come up and speak, you have 3 minutes. State your name and address, please.
Thank you. Bruno, 2740. A couple of Brazilian peppers. You could cut them down, but if you don't get the roots out, they just grow back. So you got to technically burn them out is what they recommend, because we did it in Beverly Beach. You can cut them. You just making them happy and it grow bigger. Second thing is talking about the fiber optic. Maybe we should think when we get close, having a little booth at First Friday, hand out some information. People will
Yes, we could charge them for it too.
Okay. Speaking of charging, did we get any franchise money from them or anything?
You know, the laws have been sufficiently changed by our friends in Washington and Tallahassee so that we are not going to receive any additional funding, but the fact that they would provide better service and, you know, those kind of things, I mean, there's some kind of ancillary benefits.
Okay, just a question. Beverly Beach Bricks, I was part of that. I redid the city hall and everything. The bricks were about anything, a lovable pet, a father, any kind of thing. So if you don't have the room in Vection Park, there's something maybe you could do somewhere else and get people just to buy bricks for their loved ones.
I think it's a great idea.
Okay, but there is a limit of how many you have to buy. So that's the key. Construction. We're talking about a lot of construction within this little tiny area here. We got the hotel. We're going to have the pier. I don't know what the status of the Bank of America building is. We might need to put some type of construction safety together and make maybe the hotel have their own full-time safety manager, because I don't think the police department can handle all the different obstacles we're going to have. And this is the busiest part of our city. First Friday, we're going to close sidewalks, I imagine. There's going to be cranes and all this good stuff. So something to think about. Why should we have to absorb that with the police department? Thank you.
William, do you have an update on the Bank of America building?
The owner has been rather hard to get a hold of. He's mainly spoken to the staff through his architect, but I have obtained his name and phone number, and I have instructed Katie that I want to see him and we want to talk. So I'm going to be following up on that. And just quickly on the situation that Bruno brought to your attention, I'm well aware of that. We could potentially have the hotel under construction, beach management, sand coming onshore, and the pier under construction all at the same time. So our staff is going to take it one step at a time, and we are actually got meetings beginning to get scheduled on my calendar for all the necessary coordination that it'll take to pull that off and try to minimize the impact. I won't promise a silver bullet or a magic wand, but we are going to manage through that, and we are starting the coordination.
Do we have office space for OSHA?
Well, you joke about that, but that's a big thing, you know, maintaining OSHA regulations, because you don't want to be dragged into a lawsuit.
Oh, sorry. Bruno? Any other comments from the public? Rick, state your name and address, please.
Rick Bellhumor, Flagler Beach. I didn't get through my whole list the first time, so. One of the first things that the mayor brought to everybody's attention was the median on the redesigned part of A1A and maintenance of it. It's FDOT's road, so I would assume FDOT should assume responsibility for maintenance of that median. And there's drainage grates that are just totally overwhelmed with foliage growing. And if I remember correctly, back a year ago when the mayor brought this up, that we did get some sort of promise from FDOT that they would do something with the landscaping through that median. So it'd be nice if we could follow up on that. The only other thing I had was, I know Al Hadid has been threatening eminent domain, but do we know for a fact he has gone through the courts with that?
Thank you, Rick. I actually asked that question of our city manager the other day. Do you have any further updates?
The answer is yes. He's preparing the paperwork right now. I talked to Al today.
Okay.
It's going to happen. And we're on schedule for beach management to begin hopefully next year.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. Anybody else from the public wish to speak? State your name again and your address, please.
Yes, ma'am. Thomas Kilpatrick, 12 Sycamore Street, John Anderson. I just wanted to touch base on what Commissioner Cooley was saying. You know, there's a lot of problems with having a food vendor under a nylon tent. First of all, an open flame and grease. If grease fires up and that flame reaches that tent, we're talking about a much bigger situation than improper food. On top of, to keep the equipment out there to keep your food properly within spectrum of no, bacterias to grow, it's just not safe. So that's why we've chose not to do First Friday under a tent. And that's why I'm here today trying to talk to you guys about allowing me to bring the proper equipment for the safety of the community, as opposed to just trying to set up and make a couple dollars. So there's more involved in that, and you had spoke about the people, they pay taxes here, but there's a lot of vendors that do not live in Flagler Beach, but are part of First Friday. So I don't think that that should be a hindrance. And I think that maybe the 28th, is that open to the public? Yes. Okay. So then maybe I'll come back and we can readdress that when the CRA is here. And then maybe we can have a better conversation rather than just table it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Thomas. That's what we'll do. Anybody else from the public to speak? Amy?
Amy Lukasik, Fire County Tourism Office. I just wanted to piggyback what Commissioner Sherman brought up about the scenic A1A designation, and I'll share with you, I'll email you the link that we worked, our office worked with our GIS department, and we created a virtual road trip for scenic A1A, and we've done pretty heavy promotion on it, but you're also able to download the audio tour, and we also promote how to stay, where to stay along A1A and all the shops as well. And there's a really cool video that we did that goes through all the stops. So I will share that with you, because please feel free to share. And it's mobile friendly, as someone is driving along A1A. And also we did a recap video from Starry Nights, and it was great because it showed the emotion and excitement from the kids when the snow machine, and it's very touching. And with the technical difficulty, we weren't able to show it, so I'm going to also email you that link. So be on the lookout for those two.
Thanks
Thank you.
a lot, Amy. Yeah, thank you, Amy. Anybody else from the public wish to speak? Biz, state your name and address, please.
Biz Wallace, 211 Ocean Palm Drive. Hi, everybody. I have a couple of things. One, I'm super excited about the fiber optic. I so want to be a guinea pig, so I'm going to text you later. That's going to be amazing because I work from home. So I'm literally on meetings every single day. So hopefully it's going to be by the golf course. That would be amazing. Yay. The other thing is, I know that you had spoken about the Brazilian pepper plants. Has anybody talked to the volunteer for, you're already nodding, for the Betty Steflik?
I will, I have their contact information as well,
Okay,
so we can maybe piggyback them with Flagler Strong, make this a community event, Mr. Whitson, if that's...
Yes, Tom Gillen coordinates that, and there's also some several churches that also volunteer, and we work with the Agricultural Extension Service as well. So we'll get with Tom, and we can coordinate all this.
Yeah, I just don't want them going all, yay, we're cutting them all down. Like, yikes, no one else is, okay, good job, but don't, thought I'd mention it. And then the other thing is, I would love to volunteer at the beach cleanups. It just conflicts with a standing up, thing that I have on Saturdays, so I never can make it. But just so you guys know, if there is no way to add another one or change it, maybe every other month or something, my work actually is giving a great give day where everyone in the company is given the day off and you go volunteer for a local. I told them about Flagler Strong and they're super excited about it. So I'm actually doing it off the actual day of the beach cleanup. So I just wanted to bring it up because I know that the beach, right there at the beach, is usually the focus when we do the beach cleanups. I kind of wanted to do a little bit further down south because we never really get that far down. So I just wanted to kind of put that out there if there's any conflict or if I shouldn't be out there or any kind of thing like that. So
Anybody who cleans up any part of the beach any day.
I'll clean up the whole thing that day.
We're all in on that. Go for it.
There's actually quite a few groups that come through and do them on different days, and
Good.
a lot of it is, to us, isn't even announced. They just show up, we'll see them out there cleaning, we have no idea who they are, and we're just, I'll just go out there and thank them. But, you know, anybody can organize a beach cleanup at any time, in any stretch of the beach. And,
Okay, cool.
you know, down by you would be perfect, because that end doesn't always get the attention it needs.
You're very right at that, because we have a lot of short-term places there, and it's just chaotic. That's the word I'm going to use for that. So I'll get started on that and doing that on another day so we can get the whole length of the beach. So thank you for that. That's all I got.
Okay, thank you, Biz. Anybody else in the audience like to come up and speak? Okay, I'm going to bring it back to the commission for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
Thank you, everyone.
Can I get a note? I'll get home early tonight.
You know, when you wear a shirt like that,